So, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I wish you a wonderful good morning. Welcome again to this wonderful venue on the second day of our ICARUS convention, the first session on the second day. We will have six wonderful presentations covering a big variety of topics and themes. The procedure is the same like yesterday, so we'll have the six presentations. The first three will have about 20 minutes, the second three 15 minutes, and in between, after, we have some minutes for remarks, for questions, whatever occurs. Well, it worked perfectly yesterday, and I'm very confident that this will continue this way. So let's jump into the topics. And for the first speaker, I want to welcome Giuliano Romalli from the Institute for Digitalization and Cultural Heritage, dealing and introducing us the Italian ecosystem for cultural heritage and, which is very important for us, its European perspective. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here representing the Italian Ministry of Culture, and I would like to thank the International Center for Archival Research for the invitation and the National Library of Estonia for hospitality. The Central Institute for the Digitalization of Cultural Heritage Digital Library represents a recent development within the Italian Ministry of Culture. Following the reform of its internal structure adopted in 2019, the Ministry of Culture has finally recognized the need for an institution specifically dedicated to promoting and coordinating the digital transformation of our cultural heritage. In recent years, the rapid development in the field of cultural heritage digitalization, coupled with growing user demand for access and engagement, has led to a proliferation of numerous initiatives that are often uncoordinated and lack communication between them. This also has resulted, even within our Ministry of Culture, in the emergence of similar systems designed for analogous functions, but which do not cooperate with one another, as well as the production of fragmented and non-interoperable digital resources. In the face of this fast and tumultuous process, a coordination effort has therefore become necessary, aimed at reducing the proliferation of similar systems performing the same functions, standardizing systems and applications, making the data produced interoperable, connecting public and private operators, and facilitating the development of new services for culture. This coordination role has therefore been entrusted since 2020 to the Digital Library, which was established as an independent institute under the Italian Ministry of Culture, responsible for promoting and coordinating the digital transformation of our cultural heritage. The initiative was perfectly timed. Just a few months later, the COVID-19 pandemic made the presence of a dedicated office for the digitalization of cultural heritage all the more necessary. As we know, the pandemic has in fact given an extraordinary boost to all digitalization processes, driven by the need to ensure efficient services that can be accessed remotely, and the financial resources allocated for this purpose by the Next Generation EU Fund. In this context, the Digital Library immediately assumed a role of great responsibility. as part of the PNRR, the Italian component of the Next Generation EU, Digital Library has been appointed as the implementing body for the investment digital strategy and platforms for cultural heritage, and tasked with managing funding of 500 million euro for the digital transformation of our cultural heritage. The funds in question were allocated across 12 sub-projects, aimed at creating ECOMIC, the new digital ecosystem for culture, populating it through the production of 75 new million digital resources and implementing a series of initiatives designed to establish a framework to ensure its optimal functioning and the full realization of its potential. These initiatives primarily concerned the regulatory sector. Before launching the various projects, it was necessary to develop a system of shared rules, aimed not only at ministerial offices, but also at all those actors cooperating with the ministry, the adoption of which will guarantee both interoperability of data and connection between systems. This led to the creation of the National Digitalization Plan, a policy document emerging from a consultative and collaborative process with stakeholders both within and outside the ministry, representing the strategic vision through which the ministry drives and coordinates the digital transformation of the cultural sector. The National Digitalization Plan is accompanied by a series of technical guidelines adopted to the digital library by the Digital Library to establish common standards and rules for the digitalization processes. To date, 5 guidelines have been released, dedicated to the various aspects of digitalization, including legal aspects relating to the acquisition, the circulation, and the reuse of reproductions. And once the common rule for digitalization processes had been established, Digital Library launched a major digitalization campaign across the whole country. €200 million of the total 500 million made available by the Next Generation EU investment have been allocated to the launch of around 500 digitalization projects. Coordinated by the Digital Library, these projects are underway in Italian museums, archives, and libraries, and will produce 75 million new digital resources by 30 June 2026. The digitalization process currently underway utilize the ultra-high definition 2D and 3D scanning technologies and cover not only books and archival material, but also museum collection, historic buildings, and archaeological sites. These various projects have been designed to create the initial core of a database that is set to grow over the years and to support research, conservation, and the promotion of cultural heritage. Particular attention was paid to projects that could enhance cultural heritage that is less accessible. They will be essential in the near future for bringing to light artifacts currently forgotten in museum storerooms, for recovering our memory, including that of the recent past, for understanding the contents of documents lying in the archives, for promoting scientific research, and for supporting the restoration and maintenance of our heritage. The life data, the life circle of a digital resource does not end with mere digitalization. Once produced in accordance with the common standards designed to ensure maximum interoperability, the digital resource must be managed and linked to other digital resources in order to deliver innovative services for the research, preservation, access, and promotion of cultural heritage. To this end, the Digital Library has developed ECOMIC, the new digital ecosystem for culture. In line with the Next Generation EU investment framework, ECOMIC is designed to host in the near future all the digitalized cultural heritage relating to the Ministry of Culture, to enable full interaction between the data stored within it and to promote the development of innovative and shared solutions for the management and use of data. ECOMIC is not a simple platform. ECOMIC is a whole ecosystem designed to integrate data, infrastructures, and expertise. It is a collaborative environment that supports the digital transformation of our cultural heritage, connecting all the stakeholders, both within and outside the Ministry of Culture. ECOMIC is not intended to replace existing platforms and systems, but to connect and enrich them through its data and technical solutions. ECOMIC will progressively bring about a decisive innovation across the entire cultural sector, having a cross-cutting impact on the activities of preservation, access, and promotion, linked to the three areas of museum, archives, and libraries. In order to manage these complex functions, ECOMIC has been designed around a technological backbone made by three different environments: DPAC, EPAC, and DPAS. The three environments perform different functions, but they are closely interconnected. Let's take a closer look. The first one, DPAC, is the platform that enables the digitalization of cultural heritage. It allows digitalization campaigns to be planned, monitored, and managed in a structured manner. Using DPAC for the production and submission of digital data within the ECOMIC digital ecosystem ensure the quality, traceability, and consistency of processes. In short, it guarantees reliable and uniform data. As we mentioned earlier, there are currently about 500 digitalization projects underway across Italy, coordinated by the Digital Library through the DPAC platform, and 1,042 are the operators actually registered on the platforms. The second environment, EPAC, is the ECOMIC's central infrastructure, a national data space that hosts all digitalized cultural heritage and provides advanced technologies such as AI and supercomputing for the management and the semantic and structural enrichment of data in order to ensure optimal access and reuse of resources. Within ECOMIC, digital resources are linked via cross-domain graphs, which transcend the traditional boundaries between different fields and allow for full interaction between data relating to the museum sector, the archival sector, and the library sector. This innovative approach enables cross-domain linking between digital resources and facilitates research that connects data derived from archival documents, library materials, and iconographic sources, thereby exponentially broadening the scope of research. And finally, DPAS is a co-creation platform, an open environment dedicated to the development of innovative solutions based on the cultural data contained within the ecosystem, which facilitates the creation of new digital products and services. DPAS serves as a meeting point for the various stakeholders participating in the ecosystem: institutions and departments of the ministry, cultural and technology companies, public and private bodies, university and research centers, and private professionals working in the sector. Through the technology and digital resources made available by the ecosystem, the various stakeholders come together in DPAS to develop and share interoperable data sets and new applications for culture. Analysis of the market and available technologies has led to identification of 4 main areas of interaction with cultural heritage, within which DPAS enable the development of sharing and innovative solutions. These areas or use cases are accessibility to cultural heritage, advanced engagement, gamification, restoration, and conservation. The digital solutions developed on DPAS are reusable, adaptable, and scalable, and will therefore be fundamental in the immediate future to ensuring the full operation and involvement not only of all cultural state institutions, but also of small and medium-sized cultural operators outside the ministry's sphere of influence. Digital Library is currently developing a number of innovative projects through the DPAS platforms, in collaboration with cultural institutions, museums, and university and research centers. These projects, in line with the principles that guide the ECOMIC, cover all the 3 major areas of cultural heritage: museums, archives, and library. Among these, I will highlight the application dedicated to the advanced transcription of manuscripts. The project is currently being trailed on the corpus of letters by Isabella d'Este and Lucrezia Borgia, and is aimed at handwriting recognition, the automatic transcription of documents, the creation of subject indexes and abstracts, and related advanced functions. In collaboration with the University of Naples L'Orientale, Digital Library is developing a software dedicated to the automatic transcription of medieval inscriptions, which uses advanced OCR and AI technologies to extract and manage all data obtained from the transcriptions. There are also numerous projects dedicated to the fields of heritage promotion, as well as to conservation and restoration. In collaboration with the National Archaeological Museum of Reggio Calabria, Digital Library is developing the Masterpiece Box project. The aim of the project is to enable the public access and fully utilize all the digitalized documentation relating to the studies and conservation history of these famous sculptors. And finally, in collaboration with the Polytechnic University of Bari and the Archaeological Park of Pompeii, Digital Library is developing on the DPAS platform a predictive monitoring system that combines IoT sensors, environmental modeling, and artificial intelligence algorithms to assess the state of conservation of the woman's bath at the Forum of Pompeii and plan the maintenance. And when used for constructive purposes, digital technologies act as a bridge between cultures. They are tools for collaboration, knowledge, understanding, and coexistence between different cultures. Only by sharing knowledge, we can build a future of progress and peace. And this is something we particularly need at this specific moment in our history. Digital Library has always been in dialogue with the leading international partners in the field of cultural heritage digitalization. It engages with institutions, university, and research centers. Digital Library represents the Italian Ministry of Culture in the ECOS project, aiming to create the European Collaborative Cloud for Cultural Heritage, a reference platform for tangible and intangible cultural heritage professionals. In this context, Digital Library is taking part in the Colors project, supporting the digital transformation of the conservation and restoration of color-characterized cultural heritage. As a representative of Italy, Digital Library is currently presenting at the European Summit held in Cyprus the digital twin of the neuralgic site of Santo Antine in Sardinia as part of the European Twin-It project, promoted by Europeana Foundation for the collection of digital twins of monuments representing the various countries of the Union. Collaboration and sharing are all the more important at this precise moment in history, when technology is evolving at a very fast rhythm, and scenarios and needs are constantly changing. Only through dialogue and synergy is it possible to fully understand these changes, seize opportunities, keep pace with the times, and build public value. In this context, Digital Library has recently signed a key memorandum of understanding with Europeana Foundation, the foundation which, on behalf of the European Commission, supports and coordinates the digital transformation of cultural heritage and promotes universal access to cultural heritage through digital resources. The document was signed during the first General Assembly on Digital Technology in Culture, organized by the Digital Library at the National Central Library in Rome on 10 and 11 December 2025. Memorandum with Europeana establishes Italy's active participation in European data space and designates Digital Library as the repository through which Italy will provide data on its cultural heritage to the European Union. By 2026, Italy will contribute as many as 10 million digital resources to the European data space via the Digital Library. However, the agreement doesn't concern only digitalized cultural heritage, but also covers the sharing of specialist expertise and operational know-how, with the aim of developing together new tools for the promotion of cultural heritage at both national and international level. It is in this spirit the Digital Library is taking part in the ICARUS Convention. We are here to present our development plans within a European context, to learn about our international partners' project, to exchange views with them, and to develop synergies that will facilitate the circulation of culture, the sharing of ideas, and the building of a future of knowledge, well-being, and peace. We are here to build bridges of culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this, for introducing to us this remarkable and really comprehensive attempt to grasp the enormous cultural heritage of Italy. Especially I liked the sentence not to replace existing resources, but to link them and to share and enrich the data within these projects. Before I want to give the word to the audience, I just want to ask you, in the last sentences you already mentioned it, is it in the focus of the project of the portal of economic to get in touch with other European networks, to exchange somehow? You mentioned the cooperation with Europeana, so ICARUS and Monasterum are also part of Europeana. So perhaps we can get along here and find a way of collaboration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's speak after this. Thank you very much. So the floor is yours, dear audience. I'm sure there are quite a lot of questions regarding these ambition plans. Or later, it depends. Later? Okay. Okay, later. So thank you very much for this, and let's continue. Thank you. To our second speaker from Romania. I'm sure she's, oh yeah. Codruța Mihailovici. She will inform us about the joint nominations to the Member of the World program. We have a special case study from Romania. We are eager to hear more about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. Dear audience, good morning. Please allow me to share with you an experience I've recently had in terms of preparing a nomination for the Memory of the World Register inscription. I'm sure that everybody knows at least general things about this program, UNESCO program, but I will tell you by short that it was established in 1992 with the purpose to raise global awareness, to assure preservation of important documentary heritage, and to provide universal access to these items. And for the inscription in this register is important, both the carrier, the writing support, but especially the content. And they are looking for to cover fields like technological innovation, to show a cultural shift, or to express scientific breakthrough. It is based on the 2015 recommendation as I said, with the purpose of identifying critical documentary heritage to facilitate the preservation of this document for future generations, to give access, to build universal democratic access, and to raise global awareness regarding the existence and significance of these archives. In this register operates an international advisor committee. These experts are analyzing all the proposals and give the results of their decisions. There are also in this ecosystem, some global centers, 9 knowledge centers, and I would like to highlight this ICDH, International Center of Documentary Heritage, because with their help, we've had the workshop I will present you later. And of course, in this ecosystem, there are also NGOs and tech collaborations. There is, as I said, an international register. This is a main focus for everybody, everyone who wants to register here. Currently, there are 570 items registered, but there are also regional registers and national registers. And for the last one, I would highly give appreciation to the Baltic states, because in the workshop I have attended, only Baltic state had this national register, which is highly to appreciate. It was not in the workshop, so I couldn't talk, but from the Baltic state, it was a person. All the registers are independent. All the inscriptions in each register are very important. The only difference is geographic and the influence in terms of this geographic criteria. There are some, of course, some criteria to be eligible, and of course, historical impact, form and style, social and community impact, rarity, completeness, and condition. Just to be clear, the age alone is not enough. It has to be, the document proposed must represent a paradigm shift, an innovation, or a geopolitical turning point. I would like to share with you all this information because maybe some of you are interested in having this kind of an experience, and you can see from the very beginning what to expect too. As I said, these are the main criteria and all these criteria finally had to answer to these questions. Are these the absolute best and most complete testimonies of this historical development? If the answer is yes, then you have a very good proposal. There are a few phases, initiation, opening the call. There are 2-year cycle calls. And anyone can initiate, not only the National Archives, any cultural or memory institution, or any institution can participate. They submit to UNESCO via the national committees or commission in the country. The proposal is based. And there are 2 maximum nominations per country per cycle, with 1 major exception, joint nomination, because actually I will talk about this kind of nomination, joint nomination. Of course, there are some outcomes with 4 different situations: accepted to the register, accepted pending minor adjustment. This is also very good, promising but requires substantial rework. This is not so good. It's not a no, but it's not a yes for sure. And the rejection fails to meet global significance criteria, so this is not suitable to be registered in the Memory of the World Register. They are specifically try to identify the missing links in the global memory. And we are all aware that there are highly represented some political histories, royal decrees, traditional Western statecraft, but they are very interested in these fields. industrial catalysts, global economies, legal foundations, and unrepresented voices. So if you want to have a strong nomination, please be attentive to this field. They are also focused on the post-digital era and all the challenges which come with this. They are interested in geopolitics and conflict and global alignment to the SDGs development goals, Sustainable Development Goals. And they always try to translate the archives into action, preparing all kind of publications and all kind of events that help to raise and to accomplish all their purposes. And why I wanted to talk about this in front of you, because in last month, actually, I have attended a workshop organized by Eurbica with the help of ACDH and the State Archives in Spain, where we were invited to have proposals. There were their experts from UNESCO, and they were hearing us and then gave us remarks and advice how to prepare to complete our proposals. And that's why I wanted to share with you. And it was this joint nomination I was talking about. It has some pros because, you know, history has no borders, almost always. And the joint nomination allow member states to unite scattered collection to tell a comprehensive stories of a transnational event, to share science and complex geopolitical relation. And another pro, there is no limit of the number of joint nomination per cycle. So you are encouraged to do as many as you like. And why I wanted to present it today? Because ICARUS is a huge platform from my point of view. So this kind of joint nomination suits very well in this network. Yes, maybe you will talk and we will find partners in developing this kind of proposal. I had two proposals in the workshop, one in collaboration with Poland and one in collaboration with the Czech Republic, as I prepared myself. The first is architecture of the early modern aerospace, a transnational continuum from the collegatum of Sibiu to Artis Magnae Artilleriae. Why I wanted to express through this nomination is a coherent historical continuum from localized workshop-based frontier experimentation to international disseminated systemized artillery sciences. I have two items in this proposal. One is Collegatum of Sibiu, or how is known the manuscript of Konrad Haas, unique manuscript capturing empirical workshop-based rocketry experimentation. You probably know this manuscript from ICARUS project Digital Treasures. And the second item is a manuscript of Kazimir Simienovic from 17th century, Artis Magnae Artilleriae. And I wanted to have them both because with both I have the complete evolutionary cycle of the applied science. These are some the information about the first. It is a manuscript, almost 400 pages, written by Konrad Haas, the most part of it, because it's a collegatum. There are two different treatises before this Konrad Haas in the same book. Has all over 100 very interesting, precise drawings colored. and it is a singular material which witnessed frontier military engineering, and it captures the earliest known phase of advanced propulsion experimentation before the era of the formal scientific theory. You have here the image of the three-stage rocket, which is well known, this manuscript, and few innovations. Those of you who are technical specialists, I'm not, but still, this is the first time when this kind of three-stage nested rockets appears. It's a first written documentation on delta-shaped fins. As well, there are some advanced chemistry. He replaces the solid fuel with liquid fuels. As well, he has a concept of rocket batteries and rudimentary spacecraft. The second, Artis Magna Artillerie, I was focusing on the first edition, which is preserved in Ossolineum. This was finally the partner I have found for this nomination. Includes 22 highly detailed copper plate engravings, and this item, this manuscript from Ossolineum is complete and has this special front page, and this is the second reason why I choose Ossolineum as a partner, and exemplifies the major format of early modern scientific publication and elevated artillerymen to a technical elite and served as Europe's foundation textbook for more than 150 years. Again, some innovations, again, a three-stage rocket, because the manuscript, as I said, of Konrad Haus was only local-based. It was not known in the era. It was lost, to say so, and refound in the 60s, 1960s. So, in between, this Kazimir Siemienowicz reinvented, to say so, all the innovation that Konrad had already written in the manuscript. Again, some innovation in the fuel channels. Yes, he calculated proportions. He applied geometry and physics in the propulsion of the rocket. And another point, a strong point, is that this manuscript was translated in Polish, Dutch, French, and was used as a transnational synthesis, because he had already background. He lived and studied in the Netherlands and so on. Why a joint nomination? As I said, neither document alone captures the full story of the scientific revolution, but together they form an unbroken documentary sequence showing the evolution from of the technological knowledge. I will not insist. These are some criteria you have to fulfill with this kind of nomination, any kind of nomination, actually. And this is the world significance, because you have to prove this, the birth of open science. There are some comparative criteria. I will not insist as well, and some things in common. Of course, very important to prove the importance of their being together. Again, some differences. And in the end, I wanted to express that this joint nomination proved the early aerospace is driven in the complex trans-regional network of Central and Eastern Europe, the blueprint of the science, because they together, they provide the material evidence of how technical expertise shift from artisanal to a global science, and it's important to safeguard this, inscribing them into the MOV register. The second proposal I've had in mind was the 1968 divergence. I wanted to focus on the position of Romania when the Czechoslovakia was invaded by the members of the Warsaw Treaty. My focus on how this event was on the political level, but also on the society level in Romania and in Czechoslovakia. And the catalyst was the event. My view was the divergent position by non-participation and active opposition, because this is, again, very important, active opposition, and the global impact, and how this changed the relations between Soviet-led bloc. As I said, I was interested in state decision-making, but also in societal reaction by combining both Romania and Czechoslovakia documentary heritage. From Romania, I was interested in three main points: speech, a minute of the Communist Party Executive Committee, a letter prepared to be sent to all the members of the Warsaw Pact, and the documentation of the pre-invasion visit to Prague, and also photographic records from the massive Bucharest public demonstration. And from the Czech public, I've had some things in mind, but they didn't came to an end finally. This is also how I wanted to, I have seen this proposal, the epicenter of the crisis, tracking the divergence, and to see how was a living reality. I was showing that this was historical turning point, no doubt, within the supranational military control and alliance uniformity and assertion of national sovereignty and public divergence. These are also more primary criteria demonstrated. Leading personalities, of course, focus on Alexander Dubček and Nicolae Ceausescu, the president of Romania. And these are the photographs I wanted to inscribe it. And as I said, it was a huge mass meeting when Ceausescu had a very touchable speech. And this was at least the literature, scientific literature says that it was the only time when Romanian population embraced sincerely, honestly, the Ceausescu's decision. The only sincere adhesion on what he planned to do. And the image in the left is the visit he had before the invasion. Of course, I will re-emphasize that I wanted to see diplomatic signaling, political communication, and cross-border societal perceptions from Bucharest, between Bucharest and Prague. In terms of originality, transnational concept, form, and style, maybe with the transnational context, I could emphasize something in this proposal, but the other one are pretty basic. And social and community significance. In Romania, this event is highly researched still, and in Czech Republic as well. That's why it's an important event which deserves to be in the register, international register. I don't think I have time, but I have prepared some experience, direct experience. Yes, this kind of initiative was very welcome, because otherwise Romania is not preparing anything. But as I prepared it as a masterpiece of structural meta for this experience, it's pretty hard because you have to calibrate multiple moving parts. You have to work with raw archival materials. You have to go to scattered toward a single unified global target. You have an idea. You have to locate the material. You have to analyze the relevance, evaluate the capability, and finally to go through all the MOV criteria. It is very good, but finally this nomination, with the help of ICDH, are published online through their digital infrastructure. It is for pros, this joint nomination, they show narrative with shared history, interconnected history, and assure the circulation of knowledge. And of course, in the process, all the way to find a suitable and completed nomination. One of the problems was custodial labyrinth, because as I expected, the most important document I was interested are in the National Archives, but surprise, they are not. And it was the case for both nomination. The manuscript of Kazimir Simienovic, as I said, is preserved in Osolineum, and the most important document at the National Archives in Czech responded to us are in different other institutions, so we have to go further. The language can be a problem. But now we have the solution with artificial intelligence because I wanted first to do my own research, but I couldn't do it because of the language problem. And even if this kind of collaborative nature is demanding, it's very challenging, but drives professional exchange and mutual learning. Developing long-term partnerships through this crucible not only improves nomination quality, but reinforces the ultimate principle. Documentary heritage is a shared global resource. And we have a lot of coordinated research, we can have coordinated research, institutional collaboration, UNESCO alignment, and to enhance visibility and strengthen the international cooperation. I want to say that these documents are irreplaceables, and they have a dialogue between our past and our future, and going on the message of UNESCO, there is no point in preserving unless it leads to access. I encourage you to have this experience and to see, maybe you find your partner here in this day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Codruța. I love the slides, really very artistic. Unfortunately, we consumed already the time reserved for the questions, but perhaps one short question must be possible. So if there's any kind of additional question, remark to this, here or online? We can talk afterwards, yeah? Okay, right. Thank you very much, Codruța. So we proceed to the next speaker from Hungary, Katalin Toma from the City Archive of Budapest. Well, and she's introducing to us to diverse cooperation between the Budapest City Archive and the universities. Please.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for the opportunity to present you the several forms of collaborations between Budapest City Archives and the universities. In my presentation, I will touch three main topics in this connection. In the first part, I will show you the infrastructural and human background that make possible to realize the collaboration between the two parties. In the second part, I present you our university partners, and I will speak about the areas of cooperation from university education to creative collaborations. First, about our archives. The Budapest City Archives is the second general public archives in Hungary after the National Archives. It was established in 1901, and the archives is maintained by Budapest capital city. This modern and elegant building you can see here on the photos was built in 2004, and it's really a large building with the size of 23,000 square meters, and it was built for archives, like the archive building here in Estonia in Tartu, and. There are 128 employees in our archives, and here you can see the conference room with 120 seats and 2 classrooms and the computer lab. These were the infrastructural background, and now about the human resources. The Budapest City Archives has an extensive network on academic contacts, and in which universities play a prominent role alongside public collections and academic institutions. One of the most important conditions for these relationships is having a suitable team of experts who can participate in the academic projects. And our archives have this kind of background. 76 of our employees hold academic positions. 29 of them have PhDs, and there are 5 colleagues who are currently enrolled in a PhD program. 45 persons have individually approved research plans. It means that who has got a research plan can get a maximum 45 research days per year. And during these days, they can research in their own topic. But of course, they are required to prepare an annual report on their work at the end of the year. And in the database of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, our colleagues have registered almost 1,000 academic papers since 2007. And with 153 papers published in 2023 alone. And 13 colleagues with PhDs hold leader positions at some level within the archives management. And now, right, that's why the human resources. And now the universities. The Budapest City Archives has a strong tradition of and organizational culture of academic research and involvement in higher education. The most important partner is Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest. It is Hungary's oldest and largest university, founded in 1635, and now there are about 40,000 students who study there. The Faculty of Humanities has been offering archival studies program since 1949. The program operates under the Department of Auxiliary Sciences of History. And the Eötvös Loránd University offers Hungary's only archival studies program, BA in History with an archival specialization, with 15 students per year, and an MA in archival studies with 4 or 5 students per year. And on the basis of the collaboration with the Department of Auxiliary Sciences is the cooperation agreement on archivist training concluded in 2008. And currently, 16 teaching modules are being delivered by Budapest City Archives. And the key modules are records management, archival arrangement and description, records appraisal, archival standards, archival information technology, and the archiving of electronic records. This is one side of the collaboration. The other is the practical training for archival students from Eötvös Loránd University. Generally, the student have to absolve 40 hours practical training, and our archives usually receive 4 to 8 students per semester, and during the training they can get an overview about the everyday work and activities of our archives. And it's by participating in university education, we are also partly training our own future staff. For example, currently 26 colleagues work at the Budapest City Archives who first came to our archives as part of ELTES BA in History with an archival specialization or MA in Archival Studies. And I have to mention the cooperation with Babes-Bolyai University from Cluj, from Romanian. On the basis of a cooperation agreement, we receive every year in summer 2 or 3 Erasmus students for 2 months training. They must complete 28 hours per week, and at the end of the training, it's required to compile a detailed report by the mentor who was responsible for the realization of the training. And now the next university is the Budapest University of Technology and Economics. This university is the country's oldest technical university and founded in 1782 and operating as a university since 1871. And there are about 20,000 students study there, and 300 or 400 are architecture students per year. And we cooperate with the Department of Architectural History in the training of heritage conservation engineers. And they have this postgraduate program with 30, 40 students per year. We have been participating in this program since 2002 and teaching auxiliary disciplines of history. And since 2018, we have a full semester course in archival studies. And during the semester, students get in contact with the Budapest City Archives collection of plans and maps. And that is for the University of Technology and Economics. And the result of this cooperation is, collaboration is the heritage conservation engineers will be familiar with archival materials, and they are able to perform their task more effectively. And the other is a very important result, that the students who participate in these trainings, they can participate in planning our architectural exhibitions, and particularly through students created building models. The next university partner is the Óbuda University, the Ibl Miklós Faculty of Architecture and Civil Engineering. Ibl Miklós is one of the famous Hungarian architects. And we collaborate in the training of architecture students since 2021, and it was introduced a course, the digital modeling of historic buildings, and from the 2022 to 23 third academic year by Ibl lectures. And the most important is that the plans forming the basis of the digital modeling are provided free of charge by Budapest City Archives. And the Budapest City Archives publishes selected models of a suitable standard on the Budapest Time Machine platform too. And the Óbuda University took place in the Creative Europe supported City Memories, visualizing change in 3 European capitals project, whose aim was to develop new methods for serving and needs and uses of architectural plans and drawings. And we collaborate in creating exhibitions with the university. The first exhibition was in 2012, 2013. It was the exhibition on the architect Károly Kós at the Budapest City Archives, and the design and the models was made by the students of the university. This is these are the models of the Kós Károly exhibition, and the second exhibition was the Ibl Miklós exhibition, of an exhibition of scale models, showcasing the work of the architect, and this exhibition held at numerous venues across Hungary. The first exhibition took place in the National Museum in Budapest, and the installation featured small halls through which visitors could view models. you can see here the visitors who look in through these halls, and they can see these building models. And the next exhibition was on the work of architect Károly Kós again, and it was exhibited in Istanbul and in Paris and Brussels. And and both technical universities have produced professional scale models for our exhibition, the architecture of Győző Ziegler, organized in collaboration with the Museum of Architecture. And finally, I show you some 3D models of historic buildings in Budapest, created by able students for the Budapest time machine. This is the old buildings. And thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you very much, Katalin, for introducing us to the various ways of very interlinked interaction between universities and in this case, the City of Budapest. Are there any questions regarding this topic? As far as I can see, no. So Katalin is still here, so she will be eager to answer your questions. So then we can continue to our next speaker from Republic of North Macedonia, Elisaveta Markovikj. She will inform us in a very general way, from preservation to public knowledge, the role of archivists in the digital age. The floor is yours.
Just to check these are the yes. For the large one is forward, yes? Okay. Head Pajava je torej tegesin Tallinas kohtut, which would mean good day and nice to meet you here in Tallinn. Okay. Yes, it was Estonian. I hope I pronounced it okay. So, my name is Elisaveta Markovikj from State Archive of the Republic of North Macedonia. And first, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the National Archives of Estonia for hosting this convention and for their continued commitment to advising archival practice across Europe and beyond. So it is the great honor to present ICARUS Convention number 36, hosted here in Tallinn, which is one of Europe's most remarkably reserved medieval cities and a proud guardian of its own rich historical heritage, especially considering that the old town of Tallinn is protected by UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a living testament to the power of preservation, as a reminder of why the work we do as archivists and heritage professionals truly matters. So allow me today to share some reflections on a topic that I believe is central to our profession, and it is the evolving role of archivists in the digital age, moving from traditional preservation practices and how we can transform preservation into genuine public knowledge. The presentation actually focuses on three interconnected dimensions: the visibility of archival heritage, the transformation of archival knowledge into accessible one, and the increasing availability of archives for society as a whole. So let us begin with one fundamental question. What are archives really? What is their purpose? Unfortunately, for too long, archives have been perceived as passive depositories or warehouses of old documents. But I would argue with that, and I believe Most of you will agree with me that archives are living institutions. They are not only guardians of documents, records, photographs, maps, and many other forms of evidence that reflect human activity and social development. They are active witnesses to the events, decisions, and transformations that have shaped our societies. But most importantly, in the modern context, archives and archivists are no longer mere custodians of records. They are knowledge mediators, bridging collections and communities, connecting the past with the present and future generations. The digital transformation definitely has fundamentally redefined what it means to be an archivist in the 21st century. We all, these 2 days, we are all hearing about digitization, about AI, about importance of digitization and digitalization of the documents. But I would argue, digitization seems no longer a forward-looking aspiration, but it is an operational necessity embedded in the daily workflows and long-term institutional strategies. But let us be clear, digitization is only the first step. The real challenge from one side and the opportunity from the other side lies in what we can do with digitized context once it exists. So, we learned yesterday from Mrs. Laura about the digitization and all the copies, digitized copies, but what can we do with that? How long can we keep it? And how will be easier to access them and connect it with the researchers and what is their purpose? Also, artificial intelligence is rapidly emerging as a transformative tool in archival practice. That is no doubt about that. But for example, National Archives of the Netherlands have successfully implemented AI-powered handwriting recognition via the Transcribus platform, active since around 2020. To transcribe thousands of historical documents, making them searchable and accessible within a fraction of the time previously required. Similarly is the French National Archives that have used machine learning for automated metadata generation across large-scale collections that are not these are not distant experiments. They are operational realities that are reshaping our profession today. So, therefore, flexibility has become an institutional imperative. Archives that fail to adapt risk becoming invisible, but not because their collection lack value, but because they are not presented in a ways that meet the expectation of a digital literature public. So, visibility of archival heritage is more important than, these days with those digital copies. Digitization alone does not guarantee visibility. An archive can digitize millions of documents and remain completely unknown to the broader public if those documents are not actively promoted and contextualized. As Vladka said yesterday about the platform in Croatia, where they are existing, but no one wants, they are not familiar to the broader public and to the researchers. So for me, one of the most powerful examples of how digitization transforms local heritage into global knowledge comes from our own institution, the State Archives of the Republic of North Macedonia. Maybe you already know about, or you have heard about Manaki Brothers collection, comparing rare photographic negatives and documents of exceptional historical and cultural significance, which is physically preserved in its original form at our branch office in city of Bitola. These originals remain carefully protected under controlled archival conditions, as they should be, But however, through a digitization project founded by an Arcada grant and carried out in the partnership with the British Library in London, this irreplaceable collection is now accessible to researchers, historians, and the general public from anywhere in the world. The project results in more than 25,000 digital files, of which more than 6,000 are glass negative, more than 10,000 are positive prints, and more than 3,000 are original documents. This is precisely what the modern archival practice should achieve. The originals physically stays protected at home, while its digital representation travels globally. That's how local heritage becomes world heritage. And after, on a coffee break, I will have some question to Codruța. So this model is not unique to our institution. So a remarkably similar example is the Dead Sea Scrolls digitization project carried out by the Israel Antiquities Authority in partnership with Google. The original scrolls, which are among the oldest surviving manuscripts in the world, remain physically preserved in Jerusalem, yet their high-resolution digital images are now freely accessible online to anyone, anywhere. Another compelling case in the digitization and the use of digitization is the Ottoman archives in Istanbul, where millions of historical documents relevant to the entire Balkan region, including North Macedonia, have been digitized and made accessible through an online portal, opening new avenues for historical researches across multiple countries simultaneously. So visibility, therefore, is not about replacing the original, it is about multiplying its reach and impact. And I know that across Europe, in European level, the European platform aggregates digitized cultural heritage from over 3,000 institutions across Europe. So the principle is the same in every case. The physical original is preserved and protected in the homeland, while the digital copy democratizes access to the knowledge that was previously available only to those who could travel to the repository in person. So every document in archival collection carries embedded knowledge. That is no doubt about that. About events, decisions, and social transformation. Archives are not simply warehouses of old paper. They are structured knowledge systems waiting to be unlocked. The challenge lays in bridging the gap between raw archival material and usable knowledge. This requires intelligent cataloging, contextual description, indexing, and development of finding aids to serve both specialists and the general public alike. Archival funds hold unique information unavailable from any other source, and modern archives must create a mechanism for sharing that knowledge beyond the reading room. So, this is the Manaki Brothers web sites, and if you want, you can take a picture. So if anyone is interested, can just go to the to enter these websites and look for what they need. So. Availability is a multi-dimensional concept. It encompasses open access initiatives, digitized collections, freely available online, open metadata standards, public access portals, removal of bureaucratic barriers, and multilingual interfaces. It is also means repositioning archivists as active knowledge mediators, providing guidance for researchers and the public, organizing educational workshops, collaborating with teachers, journalists, and civic organizations, and using archival documents for storytelling. And it means fostering citizen and community interaction through crowdsourcing projects, genealogy programs, community archives, and partnerships with museums, libraries, and schools. So as we look ahead, we must honestly acknowledge the challenges we face. The balancing is imperative to preserve physical records with the growing demand for digital accessibility requires resources like skills, first of all, infrastructure and funding, which is very important, that many institutions, including our own, are still working to secure. The digital divide remains a serious concern. Not all citizens, institutions, or regions have equal access to digital archival resources. And limited institutional capacity continues to hinder digital transformation in many archives. However, the opportunities are equally significant. AI and machine learning offer unappreciated tools for automatic transcription, semantic search, and content tagging. Public interest in history, genealogy, and cultural heritage is growing. And international collaboration platforms, including platforms as ICARUS, enable us to pool resources, standardize practices, and reach global audience, as Codruța said on previous presentation. So in conclusion, I would like to emphasize 3 key points. First, archives must evolve from passive storage institutions into dynamic, accessible knowledge systems that actively serve society, that we all are trying to do as best as we can. This transformation is not optional. It is the defining challenge of contemporary archival practice. Second, archivists stand at the center of this transformation. By embracing digital tools, AI, and public engagement, we become essential mediators between the records past and the informed present. And the third, visibility. Knowledge accessibility and public availability are not separate goals. Visibility is thus not merely only a marketing concern, but a dimension of archival mission. An archive whose holdings remain unknown or inaccessible cannot fulfill its function as an institution of collective memory. They form an unfit strategy for ensuring that archival heritage remains alive, relevant, and empowering for all the members of society. And thank you very much, and that is what I want to share with you. I hope that I was in the time frame, yes?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you much, Elisaveta. Yeah, thank you for this insight into the necessity of being more visible for archives. Yes. You mentioned the activities of the National Archive of North Macedonia. You witnessed some enlargement of visibility via publishing the collection.
Yes. We use that with partnership with Arcada, and also these days we're trying to put efforts to inform the larger public about the archive funds and archivists that we are doing the job in Macedonia and in globally, what archives mean. So we start with Manaki brothers, but we have a lot of other collections, like a rare Ottoman's book from that period, and along with the Istanbul National Archive from Istanbul, we are working together to find a way to promote those books that are in our country. Yes.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions, remarks, whatever? If not, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
And we want to proceed to our next speaker, Lars Smaaberg, from the organization Archivists Without Borders from Bergen. And well, he will introduce us to the work of this very interesting institution. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
This is Hello, everybody. Hi, hi. My name is Lars Smaaberg, and thank you so much, Birgitte and Thomas, for inviting me here to speak about our fantastic organization. We met just a couple of months ago, and very happy to be here talking about one of my many most favorite subjects. And we all live in a world and a time where our perceptions are changing, and not only our perceptions, but also the way we speak and the way we talk about friendship and the way we talk about humanity and being together in the world is changing. And I will use these 15 minutes to talk about Archivists Without Borders and how we can thrive and how we can expand, even in a time when the US aid is closing its doors to the world, for example. And yeah, firstly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and why I am here. Because this little tiny region marked in red here has about 550,000 inhabitants, and I work there in a small semi-private archival institution, and I'm an advisor to 24 municipalities. And there I go by boat or by car and have meetings with archival leaders or using video chat. And I advise in national archive law, in implementation of electronic case management systems, in privacy laws, and yeah, all the good archival stuff. But in the digital world, as in the paper world, there is a lot of issues. In my country, in all of your countries. For example, many places in city halls, in child services centers, in health institutions, we may find archives stowed away like this in cabinets. All these are our rights when we need them the most. Maybe they're in a cabinet like this, maybe they are in toilets, underneath urinals, who knows? I have found some there. And the point is that our rights, when we need them, you only need your rights when you need it written down. And they are threatened. And there is a cure, and the cure, that is us, archivists. We can do so many wrongs and turn them into rights. And this is my favorite, this is my 100% job, as all of us have 100% jobs in this type of field somewhere. And we see the necessity to bring this fun into our spare time as well. This means that we are volunteers and spend some of our free time to do some good work. In 2025, last year, we established the Norwegian branch, the Norwegian section of Archivists Without Borders. And in less than 2 years, 1 year, less than 2 years, we have gotten engaged in exciting projects such as digitizing archives after Palestinian resistance. We are sending a microfilm reader to Beirut. We are holding webinars on how we can document the rights of peoples, or digitizing archives after Palestinian resistance in Lebanon, Palestine, and Norway, and many other exciting projects. And me, I'm currently holding the position as the president of the Norwegian branch, the Norwegian section, and we are organized under the umbrella organization, the ASF International. So today, I'm actually speaking on behalf of the international ASF. And that is all these 17, oh, you can barely see it, all these 17 countries spread around on 3 to 4 different continents. And yeah, you see all our different branches. Our international headquarters is in Barcelona, and therefore our main language has been Catalan. However, Spanish, French, and English is also working languages. And we do all share the same idea, and that's the idea of global solidarity. This means that the struggle of an archivist anywhere, it concerns archivists everywhere. Ooh, back. Yeah, there we go, okay. So the struggles of an archivist anywhere concerns an archivist everywhere. And we share the same issues as an archivist, we share the same goals, we share the same workload. And archivists also share the same responsibilities toward human rights and to the same responsibilities to safeguard democratic practices on a local level. And this one will skip, and this one will skip, and this one, and this one. So, to illustrate all the work we do to, let's dive into the country of Western Sahara. And there we go. Yeah. So to the west, into the Atlantic Sea, you have the Canary Islands, and around you have the Morocco and Mauritania and Algeria. And in between, you have Western Sahara. And there lives about 600,000 people, and it's mostly occupied and governed by Morocco. And since 2006, the Archivists Without Borders Spain has been in this territory to aid the government of Western Sahara. Let's have a short little history lesson. So, until 1975, the country was a colony under Spain, and then there was a war, and then most of the territory was occupied by Morocco, and it's classified as the last colony of Africa today. Back in 1975, there lived 75,000 people in Western Sahara. Double that, 150,000 people in Western Sahara. And then 75,000 had to flee and are now living in refugee camps in Algeria. And that's also where you find the government of this territory. And that's in the Tindouf region, as you can see here, marked by the pinpoint on the map. Today, there are approximately 173,000 people living in refugee camps there, and they have nowhere to go because the border to their home country is the most mined border in the world. And they have been living in exodus for 5 decades now. So, not only the people live in exile, also the government live in exile. And as you can see here, Al-Archiv Al-Watani Al-Sahrawi, the National Archives of the people of Western Sahara, lives in exile. So they asked their former colonizer, hey, can you help us with our archives in 2006? Yes, of course, said ISF Spain, and said, how can we help? So here's the picture of the workers and the archives after the job. So how can we contribute? Firstly, there was a prospective study to find out how we can help. And then we started to help. Of course, basic training was requested. It was collecting archives from all over Western Sahara and collecting stories, oral history. In 2007, ASF Spain went to Western Sahara and carried out training. In 2008, equipment was purchased to start to build a new archive. For example, they built a new repository. They bought a four-wheel drive vehicle that can drive and carry archives in the desert environment, and basic equipment to preserve paper documents. Then in 2009, the whole National Archives went on a field trip to Spain to learn about organization, to learn about how you can run an archive efficiently and also safely. And then in 2017, there was bought new equipment. Now it was more digital, trying to get computers and stuff. And in 2018, a new prospective study was done. So here is a picture of the training session. And what are these archives? You got a little bit of the history here. They have around 500 meters of archives. It's not that much for a whole nation. It's not very much. So it's very important to try to save what is there. And it depicts, like, from the decolonization and until today, it depicts the national structures, also organizatorial life of the people and of the civil life in the territory. And of course, you have some rights documents as well. So the prospective study, the way forward from 2018, it addressed some core issues here also. There is need to work more and more with Western Sahara because the sand continues to infiltrate the archive repository. There is no climate control, no humidity control. This is a very hot place, for example. So there is still danger to a lot of the archives. So we continue to work together. Let's see. This was just one of our many, many projects around Africa, around Europe, and around South America. For example, in Mexico, every year many thousand people are abducted and killed by government, or by cartels, combined with the government. Actually, 3 years ago, the number was more than 10,000 in 1 year. So Archivists Without Borders are in Mexico and working closely together with civil rights group to help collect proof, to help also systemize the proof so that people can research where their loved ones have gone. So, to sum up a little bit, there is a huge need for archival expertise and work in the whole world. The interventions and solidarity for archives and archivists in distress is very needed. And we need to preserve our human rights and democratic practices, as we all do, but we need to share them as well. And next one, please. If you feel that Archivists Without Borders is very cool, we are always looking for new partnerships, and we are interested in shared projects, and also opening new national sections, because that is where all the work happens. Most of the work is done in our local context. So in Norway, we try to work most at home, and then also we can have international projects. And in the Congo, they try to work most at their own archives, where they know everything best, and then they can help Sierra Leone, for example. And yeah, I'm very excited to speak about this to all of you in ICARUS. Thank you.
Lars, thank you very much for this, insight in this unfortunately very necessary work. as we've seen. This reminds me, some years ago, Vlaska will remember, when we had a kind of very similar activity when we tried to support the Chaldean cultural heritage during the aggression of the IS in Iraq, when we also transported some scanners and so on to Iraq to save the Chaldean heritage. We haven't known about the organization yet, so it's a wonderful work. How do you finance yourself? It's quite interesting.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
About funding, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have stable funding anywhere. So this is application-based. We spend a lot of time to apply to different kind of, what do you call it, funding organizations. And also, for example, this Western Sahara project is funded mostly by local governments in Spain that find this interesting to fund. So like trying to reach out to our governments and to other beneficiaries is how we try to fund. But also, yeah, we're always open to funding as well.
This I understand very good. Okay, thank you very much. If you have some questions? If not, thank you very much. And we proceed to our last speaker. Last but not least, Daniel Bosnic from the Archive of the Republic of Srpska. He will speak about implementation of an ISO standard 27001-2022 in archival institution and integrated information security management system model. So we're eager to hear about this. Thank you very much.
Hello, fellow archivists.
Hello.
I hope that you're having a nice time in the wonderful Tallinn. We are sending you warm regards from Banja Luka. I'm Danilo Bosnic from the Archives of Republic of Srpska, and this is my co-author, Đorđe Bajić. As said, today we are going to present you our presentation about the ISO 27001 standard in the archival practice. I hope you can see the slide. Why do archives need information security? Today, we are not just the mere collectors of the documents in a classical way, but physical materials now coexist with the digital repositories, databases, and electronic documents. We have also in the Archives of Republic of Srpska our own digital platform, which is called Archipedia. But in today's world, we are exposed to many risks, mostly connected with IT problems like cyber attacks, theft, but also employee errors. Cultural institutions have their own problems. They're being increasingly attacked in today's world. But as I said, it is not just an IT problem. ISO 27001 targets also the incidents linked to people, habits, and processes. And the main thing is not to prevent them, but what we do when they happened. ISO 27001 provides a stable framework, but later on we will speak that because most archives are governmental institutions, they have their own governmental frameworks, including ours. And I will talk later about that and the cohabitation with ISO standard and the government regulations. Đorđe will now continue to speak a little bit more about the history of the ISO 27001.
Hello, everybody. So, as we can see here, the history of standard. First, ISO 27000 was announced in 1995. It was British standard, the first formal framework for data protection in business organizations. After that, in 2000, it became ISO, not more British standard. ISO adopts the standard and transforms it into an international set of best practice recommendations. In 2005, it was first introduced as ISO 271. ISMS is also introduced, a certified standard that demonstrates information security management. Later on, in 2013, it happened revision, modernization and alignment with ISO 9001 and 14001 for easier integration of management system. And as of 2022, it was corrected, refreshed structure adapted to cloud environments, modern threats, and digital processes. There are three key principles protected by ISMS. They are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is information is only seen by those with authorized access. So no one beside that people who have authorized access can see the data or anything else. Integrity, information remains accurate and unaltered without authorization. And availability, data is always available to those who need it. So if you ask, you can see, and it also, we need to see what people need from that data. Key elements to ISMS: policies and procedures, risk assessment, application of controls, employee training and awareness, monitoring and measurement, internal audits, incident management, and continuous improvement. Modern archives manage digital repositories, databases, electronic documents, and personal data, such as an environment demand a systematic approach to information protection that goes beyond traditional physical security. What archives manage today? Digital repositories, database, electronic documents, personal data, and information systems for archival records. ISO 27001, formalization of security policies, risk monitoring, documented incident control, a systematic approach to protecting the entire institution. What is strategic value for archives? Institutional resilience, reputational benefit, and increased public trust. As we can see here, we have physical risks, digital risk, and organizational risk. Because as Danilo said, ISO 27 is not only IT standard, it also includes people, habits of that people, and everything else. Physical risks are fire and floods, theft of archival materials, vandalism, unauthorized physical access to storage areas. Digital risks are ransomware attacks, compromise of user accounts, data loss, outdated software and system, which is what usually happens in IT sections. Organizational risks, misdirect documents, improper handling of confidential materials, absence of information classification, and insufficient employee training. ISO 271 does not prescribe in advance which controls you must have. Instead, it says, first identify the risks, then decide what needs to be protected and how. That is the main thing of ISO 27001. As you can see, we have asset inventory, threat identification, vulnerability identification, impact assessment, risk level calculation, and treatment selection. We can do that in three phases. Phase one, strategic preparation. So we define what is ISMS scope. We asset information mapping. We identify the legal requirements. Then we do the risk assessment. Then after that, we management support. Phase two is implementation controls. We can see what are information security policies. Then we do access controls for storage and areas and systems. After that, we do backup policy and decryption for our own safety. And after that, we can do employee training and awareness and confidentiality agreements, which usually go one after another. Phase three is evaluation and improvement. Those are internal audit, management review, corrective measures, continuous improvement, and preparation for certification.
Here we have a preliminary ISO 27 analysis based on the informal audit conducted in the archives of Republic of Srpska. Here you can see basic informations, the location. We have done it, it was only Banja Luka. We have some minor archives that are subordinated to us, but we have done it only in Banja Luka. We have 31 employees here, and the standard is from the year 2022. Here it is a pre and post audit demonstration. Here you can see that the defined processes like responsible person appointed by departments and sections, policies and procedures, risk management has also been conducted. FOC means financijsko upravljanje I kontrola, and the risk register. The financijsko upravljanje I kontrola is financial management and control. It is a governmental rule, as well as the risk register, which is very much aligned to the ISO 27001. COSO methodology framework is also used for the risk and for the risk register. When we talk about the documentation management, process books and procedures already exist, and employee training records are being maintained. So when we talk about the standard, pretty much is already regulated. The risk, it is also, this slide is about what is fully implemented. As you can see, the risk register, risk records, the last update is from December 2025, so it's being done annually. We have also internal review in the archives of Republic of Srpska. And when we talk about the information security, there is some areas where we can improve. So like access control, backup and recovery, incident management, access review, and so other. Here are the, during the audit, we have seen what are the major concerns for incident management. The formalization of incident records is necessary because the current regulations do not know about, they do not have it in the obligations. So the plan is to conduct the formalization of incident records. You can see the priority is high. Access control, it is very important in the archival practice. So documentation of access matrix and periodic review is also necessary. We have it in the risk register and the work schemes, but this kind of documentation is also necessary. Backup testing, when we talk about Archipedia and our servers and our web page, it is very much needed to make some improvements because we had some major problems in our country connected with the ongoing IT risks. Also, we have identified that security awareness training are also necessary in some additional areas, and monitoring and tracking is always necessary. As identified, priority 1, formalize incident records, document backup, restore, testing, organize employee security awareness training. Priority 2, further improve monitoring and record keeping, continue regular risk register updates, and continue periodic internal reviews. What are the benefits of ISO 27001 in the archival practice? It's institutional resilience. It makes protection against all types of threats, especially in the IT department, because the current law regulations do not comply and do not take everything in consideration. So ISO 271 is a good additional effort to make that kind of sensible information more safe. Also, I would add the reputational benefit, trust of the public, potential donors, partners. It is good also to have it for the international projects and for the legal compliance, because here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have a new law regarding the personal data. It is complied with the GDPR, but some local regulations are more strict than the GDPR, but it is a topic for another debate. The main challenges are, of course, the financial constraint. Education is also required, that all the employees must understand and embrace the information management system. Cultural change and documentation requirements, because we work with a lot of documents. Georgia will also briefly tell you about some other implementation.
This is conceptual implementation model for ISO. As you can see, we have leadership support, risk assessment, SOA and documentation, scope and context, implementation controls, and internal audits and review. And after that, at least certification. As we can see, institution, general data, as you can see, we name Archive of Republika Srpska, location Banja Luka, employee 31, standard ISO 27. Scope of analysis is to illustrate example for a professional article, access date of information security, approaches we use, document review and policy examination, interviews with department heads, control mapping against ISO 27, gap assessment using traffic light status and recommendations and priority classification. We named responsible person per department and section, defined roles for department heads and section managers, internal regulation procedures and records in place. ISMS manager role to be formally appointed, management commitment confirmed in principle. Current risk management practices, risk management conducted through FIC and risk register, cost methodology framework applied, risk register last up in December, staff awareness and development, employee training records maintained, training and evidence available per department, awareness level moderate, structured ISMS training needed, gap node dedicated ISO 27 awareness program, and priority medium scheduled awareness session.
Here you can see also if somebody is interested, we can send you our PowerPoint presentation. There are also some key findings, strengths identified, strong organizational foundation already in place. We have the risk management process, physical and IT security is functioning, but critical gaps are, of course, the incident management process, access control, restore testing not recorded, and no formal ISO 27001 awareness training, and statement of applicability not yet prepared. So just to summarize it once again, ISO has 93 security controls, 10 mandatory clauses, 3 implementation phases. And it is not just a technical project, it is an organizational reform. Dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. We are open for your questions.
So thank you very much for this insight into the attempts in the Republika Srpska to implement this ISO standards. I wonder how much awareness there is in international scale is about to implement such, because the interest is obvious that every archive needs to be secure, facing the the threats you mentioned. You have some information how many archives really try to implement this in this level you did?
As much as I know, in the region, it has not many archives have implemented. As I said, we are a governmental institution, so we have a governmental framework, including the risk register and the financial management and control, where pretty much a lot of processes have been frameworked. But ISO standard is a nice addition to it. So it can be also a challenge with the governmental institution, despite having, lacking the necessary funds to pay. We haven't conducted. We have conducted an informal audit to challenge the governmental regulations with the ISO standard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much for this. Again, this was a good conclusion to today's session, morning session, and Birgit will tell you some details about the time schedule.
Yeah. So thank you very much for all the speakers, today's morning session. And of course, we have run out of time, but still, we take 15 minutes break. So let's gather here back 10 to 12. So, and we can manage our next session perhaps a little bit more rapidly as we did. But thank you for the morning session speakers. And just one more note. Please don't go to the balcony area for smoking. Please use for smoking just the main entrance and the area in front of the building. And once more, if you have a time and chance and joy to grab some souvenirs or to buy some souvenirs from the National Archives, our colleague is during the breaks there and will guiding you. Thank you very much. See you very soon.